Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit the notification bell, get the updates. Really excited for today's video. The beer's courtesy of Ross. Thanks so much, Ross. I really appreciate it. It's actually a collab. Excuse me. And Freigeist, I'm probably mispronouncing that as I'm inclined to mispronounce things. Freigeist, Bierkulture, and Goose Island, actually. So it's called Smoke and Ice, Eisbock, and I believe it's 10.5% ABV. I don't see it on here. And I had looked more into it, so some of my details might be fuzzy. But I believe Goose Island was saying like you can't brew an ice beer in the United States. I don't know, or maybe just in Chicago or in Illinois or something. So they like collabed with these guys, and then they brewed it there, and I believe brought it over here to sell. It is in both languages, and English is the second language on this. And the bottle cap has Freigeist Bierkulture on it. And it says product of Germany. So if I just read the back, I could have spared us some time and myself some embarrassment on the internet. Ingredients: water, barley malt, oat malt, hops, yeast. Okay. Let's get into it. I also forgot to mention it's Tuesday, and on Tuesdays I try to test my palate, and I figured, I don't remember the last time I had an Eisbock, so this will definitely be in that wheelhouse of something a little different, a little outside my norm to review. All right. So I did pour it relatively aggressive, and I think that shows. It's almost exactly the color of my khaki pants I wore to work today. So it's somewhere in that like khaki, maybe light khaki realm for the head, and like, I don't know, finger and a 3/4 maybe. And then the beer itself, I mean, how to describe that? It's red and brown, a little kiss of orange, like a little bit of pink in there if the light hits it just right. It's like crimson. I don't know, like that's a beautiful looking beer. I mean, that really is a very beautiful looking beer. Let's get to Aroma. I like that aroma. You're getting some like dark fruits. You're getting more specifically dried, like dates, plums, or like figs. I mean, a little bit of raisin, but big caramel, hint of booze in the best possible way. You'd almost think it had like cinnamon in it, because it has like spice, like elements of spice. And, it's funny. I was just talking to the co-owner and head brewer at Artisanal Brew Works about their quad and how they don't put any spices into it, yet you would swear it could have, like some, I mean, a lot of things, licorice, cinnamon, cloves, etc., etc. That's what I mean by the smell of cinnamon. You could believe that this actually has spices added to it. So it's like those warm baking spices. Think like, winter or fall and winter, baked goods, like that kind of stuff. Kiss of apple, molasses, a smoky, like a pecan pie that you got a little bit of smoke in the oven, so you take it out, there's a kiss of smoke with the pecan pie. How about that as a descriptor? I don't think I've ever used that one before. But approaching peatiness. Wow. Savory that way, yet sweet. Oh man, this one was really, I could keep smelling and keep describing, but for time, I will move on. Cheers. Thanks again, Ross. Wow. It follows the nose in a lot of ways. It has that burnt sugar caramel, but then you strip some of the sweetness. You get that kiss of apple. I'm so glad I mentioned apple in the aroma, because you get that kiss of apple. The taste is less baking spices, but it's still there. Just maybe I oversold it on the aroma, where like you could tell me it had that stuff and I would believe you. But like if I was doing this blind, I wouldn't be like maybe as confident to say like this definitely has cinnamon. Whereas the aroma, it's very, very subtle, works well with the beer. Glad that stuff's coming through. A little bit of that smoke approaching peaty, like on that path, but like barely starting out. It was a cocktail I had that had like a smoky presence and some cherry. I cannot for the life of me remember what that cocktail was, but it's getting a little bit of this like smoky cherry thing, like almost like cherry wood. Like if you're smoking meat with cherry wood, a little bit of that in taste form, which is kind of cool. Some of that molasses comes through. I'm going to add a little bit of pear to that apple taste. Subtle doughiness. I would love to see a new money beer drinker try this. I really wonder what their thoughts would be of this beer. If you like Box and want that added level, I'll say complexity. I know that's a big no-no, but I think I did a good description, a good job describing it and how complex this beer is. That kiss of smokiness, and I've gotten that in other Box, like different styles of Box. This is a little bit more turned up, so the name makes sense to me. But it's not like a ham tasting beer either. It's not that smoky, but just enough of it to mention it. But yeah, like if you don't know Box, quads, any more English style barley wines, this would probably be a really tough intro beer to that kind of strong ale world. Whereas I love those beers. So for me, I'm all in on this beer. This is a trip of a beer. This is a trip. Thanks again, Ross, man. I really appreciate it. Have you guys had this beer before? Have you had this style before? Did you feel offended that I called you new money? Anything, everything, comment section below. Let's get a conversation going. Once you're done doing that, make sure you check me out on Instagram and Untappd. It's No Hype Beer Reviews at both of those places. So please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.